Recently, I have been showing you all my Star Wars The Black Series and other 6-inch figure lines collection, going shelf by shelf. We are on shelf number 4 out of 5 today, which is the Mandoverse. First, I want to give you guys a quick little update on all of the additions to some of the other shelves that I've made since the last videos. Some of you may recognize this Watto from my previous videos, but I did some pastel work on him, just slowly blending those colors to look a little bit more screen accurate, a little bit more blue rather than green. Plus this incredible C3PO from episode 1, which is a custom that I got on Instagram. Send me a DM if you would like to know where I purchased this, because it's just going to be too much to try to name everyone's screen names in this video. I did buy a pack of custom heads from Uncle Sam's Cantina, which included this Obi-Wan from episode 2, as well as this Lando Calrissian. And then these hands are actually from an SH Figuarts figure. I just used a small piece of 3D printer filament and put it into both the arm socket and the hand holes, and it works great. I also got this Clone Wars Ahsoka repainted by Uncle Sam's Cantina, just looking like a perfect mix between live action and the animated series. We did this custom of the Cantina bartender for my Patreon with a head sculpt by Blue D and a body by the Glowing Ghost, which really nicely fleshes out and sort of completes all of my Cantina aliens for now. I feel like we got a lot of the iconic ones, especially with that Black Series Moma Nadon. I also did some mods to my Mayfix Sand Trooper with a Black Series White Pauldron and a hand by GI Trooper kits, as well as that Seeker droid to kind of make the guy that goes, "Look, sir, droids!" I added General Madine to my Return of the Jedi shelf with some paint help from Frederick's Figures and files from my Patreon. The base body being General Lando with the skirt from the Death Squad Trooper. But now it's time for the main event, which is the Mandoverse / Disney Plus shelf. So we've got some Acolyte stuff, we've got some Ahsoka series, Mando going into Book of Boba Fett, as well as Kenobi and Andor. I think that covers everything. The Acolyte figures are mostly unaltered, but we do have some 3D printed parts down there from the Toxic Collector. The Lothcat is a file from my Patreon, as well as Basil. Then we have this amazing Morgan Elsbeth repaint by Frederick's Figures with the Blade of Talzin by Bounty Supply Co. on Etsy. On the top left, we have the Stranger Kit from CB Prints 3D on Etsy, and then May the Assassin here has a custom hand from a Marvel Legends Eternals figure, and then Jedi Master Indara up top with a hand from Dagobah Luke. Taking a look now at the Ahsoka shelf, we have Ahsoka the White straight out of the package. We've got Sabine and Bo-Katan with heads from Fett Clone. Then we've got a Night Trooper that Frederick's Figures made for me. Harris and Dula, also repainted by Frederick. We've got Marak, which has been repainted and given the Mandalorian cloak. Enoch with a custom helmet, also from Frederick's Figures. Shin has the thigh swap with a head from Fett Clone, and then that Sabine in the training gear on the left is made with files from my Patreon as well, with a Mara Jade body, Ahsoka legs, and a Bo-Katan head. Sabine in her first appearance look here is completed with this helmet from the Toxic Collector. I couldn't find the user who made this protocol droid for me, but it's from that scene in Ahsoka. I think it looks so beautiful. It's so hard for me to keep track of who made what, especially with all the amazing customizers out there, so I apologize if I missed your name or something. Moving over to the Mando area, we have this Queel, which I did a dark wash on to look more like the TVC colors, a little bit more screen accurate. This Mando here with the Mayfix helmet, IG-11 from Mayfix as well. A Fett Clone head over on Boba Fett there, a custom paint job by Tim on the Migs Mayfeld, the SH Figuarts Armorer, another Fett Clone head on that Boba from Tython on the left. Frederick's Figures did that Rebel Trooper in the blue all the way on the left, as well as this Zeb Aurelius, which just looks absolutely incredible. Those files are from Skylu 3D. This Mando is the Glavis Ringworld body, repainted with a couple parts switched out. That's the Black Series Ahsoka head repainted by Frederick. Tim repainted that Axe Woves, and there's a better look at that Zeb paint job on the head. Unbelievable. And a Book of Boba Fett Luke from Fett Clone at the bottom. Blue helped me make this Grief Karga bust for my Patreon, and then we have a Fennec Shand head repainted by Frederick. The Tusken Warrior are files from my Patreon by the Glowing Ghost. This Tusken Child is just a kit bash of a bunch of different things that I made back when that show came out. That Pelimoto is using a Rose Tico body and a lot of 3D printed parts just to kind of give the idea that she is actually on the shelf, even though we don't see her face. A perfect custom for people like me that can't really paint faces very well. We've got a Mithril by Frederick's Figures down in the corner, and then this Book of Boba Fett Boba I did using a Ghostbusters body and a Fett Clone head, and I also made that Rodian on the right using a Cal Kestis body. This custom Leia was made for me by Tim's Toys using a Hermione Granger Figuarts body. This Obi-Wan here is using the Ben Kenobi Figuarts robe and a Fett Clone head. Another repaint on Mon Mothma there by Uncle Sam's Cantina. This Duels and Vader is actually a custom, as well as the Cad Bane by Frederick's Figures. We've got Dedramiro with a custom head, as well as these two Narkina prisoners on the right from Andor that are also using files from the Patreon, along with that riot shield and baton, as well as a head swap on that Andor trooper there, and then a custom head on that Pike soldier on the left, which I found on CG Trader, and then this custom Tala that we made by kit bashing a bunch of figures, mostly Indiana Jones, and I think like Bush Leia's skirt, and Frederick helped me with the face. I actually think it looks more like Tala than the actual Black Series figure. And then this custom Lieutenant Gorn up in the top right was done by me using just kit bashing a bunch of different figures together. I even did a custom paint job on one of the Endor speeder bikes just to match how his looks in the show. If you have questions about any of these figures, please leave a comment below and I will do my best to answer them. There's just like so much detail that I can go into for every single figure here based on what I can remember. So I basically just try to list off all of the important details, especially on the customs. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and check out the other videos in this series. I also have a lot of new Black Series reviews coming very, very soon. I'm always adding new files to my Patreon, like this Cantina Dio that we did recently, as well as all of the alien heads. This one was really fun. I made a whole video about how this puts together, so if you haven't checked that out yet, that is on my channel, and you'll see that pop up on your screen towards the end of the video. It's actually probably my favorite video I've ever made on YouTube, just because it encompasses so many different aspects of what I can create, as well as just bringing in help from other people, such as the Glowing Ghost, who did so many of the alien heads for the Cantina, and just so many other friends that have helped along the way, or like that Wooher the bartender with the custom head by Blue D and painted by Tim's Toys. It really takes a family, and that's why I love looking at this collection. There are just so many different artists represented here, and I'm so happy to be able to present it to all of you. Again, subscribe if you're new to the channel. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time.